Today I'm going to tell you about basically my first time and my first week going plant-based, actually for the second time. I originally was plant-based for about 4 years. I was very serious about it. However, I then took a job that was super demanding in terms of hours and in terms of and was not so loose in terms of flexibility. I'm still there, so once I started the job, I really kind of fell off the wagon and adopted really a standard American diet. For a variety of reasons, I've decided to now get back to my plant-based lifestyle. And what I realized today is that I've learned a lot by going plant-based the first time. And so this transition, while I'm sure will have its ups and downs, is actually much more educated than it was the first time around. So I thought I'd share with you what I did today when I just decided to cold turkey transition into a plant-based lifestyle. So if you're interested in that, keep watching. So the first thing I did today was sit down, plan, then I shopped for food, and then I cooked. And that was followed by basically divvying up all of my meals for the week. I know this is something that I saw. There are other videos of people that do it similarly. I think, I can't remember her name, but Happy Herbivore is one of them. And I remember watching her videos beforehand. So certainly credit to her. She's someone you should definitely check out. Anyhow, so basically what I did was I calculated that I had 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches, 5 dinners, and usually I have 2 snacks throughout the day. So the snacks were the easiest. I just went with dark chocolate and apples, which is an amazing combination, by the way. I highly recommend it. And then mango slices for my other snacks. So I obviously like my snacks to be fruity. And then the meals were a little more complicated. Now, the challenges that I remember running into when I was first transitioning into a plant-based diet was that I had trouble figuring out what exactly was going to be enough food. Did the volume have to be huge for me to be full? And if I was full, how long was it going to last? And it wasn't unusual for me to have an enormous amount of food and then not feel satiated for a long time, meaning I was satiated for an hour or two and then felt like I wanted to have more food, which when you do have a ton of protein, meaning animal-based protein, you don't feel that way quite as often. What you do feel is like a dip in your energy level rather than hunger. So anyhow, so for these recipes, I think it was important for me, because I had learned that from in the past, it was important for me to have protein in every recipe. And so whether it's tofu or whether it's legumes, chickpeas, I made sure that each recipe had that. And ideally, each recipe would also have some kind of grain, like rice or oatmeal, etc. Now, a huge mistake that I used to make when I was plant-based initially was that I thought to myself, well, you're just supposed to eat plants. You're just supposed to eat vegetables, and just cruciferous vegetables and green leafy vegetables and maybe some tomatoes. And the issue is that really doesn't cut the butter in terms of satiating one's hunger. And so it is important right at the beginning and right from the get-go, to not set yourself up for failure, because it's way easier to deviate when you can justify to yourself, well, I'm starving and there's nothing around me that is plant-based, so I'm just going to go ahead and order, I don't know, pulled pork, which I think is delicious, but it's also really bad for you and really bad for the planet. So here's So once I did that, I went and I shopped for all the ingredients. As I was picking my recipes, I actually created a list by copying and pasting the actual recipe. So I work from ebooks a lot of times. So that's an easy way of doing it. Once I had my list, I went to Costco and then I went to Whole Foods. And then I got home and basically cooked everything and put each meal into these little containers. I like glass containers. These are also from Costco. Whoops. And in the bottom here is black rice, and then on top here is a type of vegan korma, basically. So it's kind of a creamy. The cream here is not tofu and not coconut. It's actually cashews that I put in the Vitamix. Anywho, I will go ahead and post the actual recipes that I used this week. They're from all over, and I'll try to give an attribution, except for each time that I remember where I grabbed it from, with the one exception that I made up my my Asian corn soup, and it actually worked out pretty well. And trust me, it's a 50-50 sort of gamble. And the stakes are high because I'm cooking for the entire week. But a lot of times I've learned that if it's not tasty, I just throw it out, because otherwise I'm frustrated for the entire week, or I don't eat it, or I eat other things. Anyhow, I hope it was helpful for you to hear how I went about planning my first week back. And thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you have any questions that I may be able to answer. I don't know why I would be able to answer them. I'm not a doctor or chef or any sort of or a nutritionist or any sort of professional, but I have done this off and on for the past few years, and so I'd be happy to help. Thanks for watching. Bye.